Hello, 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 everyone. Akiko got in with the first comment. I'm very happy for you, madame. So it's a lovely Sunday. There's been a steady stream of articles about cute animals this week on SciBabe. So I hope you are all in a good mood. It's Jamila and we've been hanging out and talking about our favorite new spelling bee winner. That's like she's not just an amazing little speller. She has multiple world records. Ms. Avant-Garde. She has
Yes,
it's
yes.
multiple world records.
It's incredible. Like Black Girl Mad. I don't know if they still say
Like,
on for whatever, but
we're old enough that we can use. Well, I didn't even know she was homeschooled. I mean, that's not surprising. I read an interview with her. She said it was something like, she's like, yeah, we didn't want to push it too hard, so we only practiced for 7 hours a day and 13,000 words a day for the spelling bee. They did that in her spare time. My God.
I feel like such a failure.
It's funny because every so often, like, my age will come up on here, and it'll come up that I just turned 38. Oh, age is happening to me, and it's going to keep happening, hopefully. But like, someone will say, I feel like, if someone older than me will say, I feel like I haven't done anything. I'm like, me, I just have a blog that's kind of popular. This girl has world records at what, 13, 14?
She's like a young 14 too.
Yeah, she's like, what the videos of her playing basketball are just like I played basketball for a short period, and I was.
She can ride a unicycle. Like, she wins. She wins.
Ride a unicycle while juggling and dribbling, and like, whatever she wants in life, it should come to her. She will, and never mind, it should come to her. She will get it. She clearly is someone who is like, I'm going to. Oh, it's there. It can be gotten. She trained for the spelling bee in 2 years. Kids come out of the womb and their parents are like, you're going to win that spelling bee. We're starting today. Oh, you haven't gotten the goo wiped off of you from the birth canal? No, we're training you in spelling. It's I just 2 years is all she trained for.
I love her. I love her because she did something that, okay. So you've been something like, how do you have an opinion? How do you speak your mind? I know that's a shocker, dealt with such a thing. But little Ms. Avant-Garde said some things that, like, people are like, what? She
has an opinion.
The fact that spelling is an incredibly expensive sport. I get, is it an activity? I don't know. But whatever, it's incredibly expensive
thing that people.
And she brought up the fact, $600 tutors. $600 tutors.
Oh yeah, the tutors for that are crazy. Yeah.
She's out here fighting for the little people. She's out fighting for the masses. And she, the interview she gave that was the first one. She's from New Orleans, and the
nice.
Down there that interviewed her. She's the one who brought up through my journalism. It wasn't the reporter that wrote the story that was like, hey, let's look at the income inequality issue around this. Reporter went and continued to report, as one should do, on the fact that this 14-year-old child was saying part of the reason that you don't see other African American kids, you don't see working class kids, is because tutoring is so consuming, and rather affluent parents can get to the sport. So she's like, when I'm not breaking world records and making Guinness records of my own, I wanted to say something about that.
Yeah, this article just came out 20 hours ago, so she's already been offered a full scholarship to LSU. She's 14. That's fantastic. I just want everything to come to her. LSU
is like, we don't want you to go to Harvard. We will do everything in our power to keep you here. Forget that you haven't even gotten to high school yet. Stay in Louisiana.
And like here's the thing with schools, like with the Ivy League schools, they obviously do not give academic scholarships because everyone who goes there is effing smart. They're like, yeah, we get it. You're at Harvard. You're smart. Like someone. So I'm curious what I've read one interview with her where it's like, yeah, she wants to go to Harvard, be an astronaut, it's like, she can probably do it by the time she's 22. She'll be fine. She's going to be the first doctor, astronaut, president, but who's 22, who's also in the NBA. Like she'll do it all. I hope I'm not mispronouncing her first name. It's spelled Zaila. Zayla, whatever you do in life, I applaud you. We're just keep fucking going, girl. Just my God, how do you do this all? How? Teach us. We're behind.
About my for a second.
Do it. Yeah, it's your kid's been doing. Your kid's been kicking ass this year.
I showed my son this, precious, who's barely, and I was like, son, I'm not planning for you. I might want to think about doing something like this. From the time my child was 8, I told him, son, I will not love you once you are 18 or older if you don't get into MIT. Now, you may choose to not go. Mommy will love you as a mother would, but I really just need you to get in. I need you to get in. And, so I'm saying, yeah.
Oh my God.
She could get into MIT. And my son reminded me, he said,
it's Jamila lost her connection. I swear to God, I didn't kick her off. Jamila, come back. We want to know what did your son remind you of? Come back. We just lost you. Texting her. You. Exclamation points. No. Poor timing. She'll be back. Oh no, I'll ramble for a moment. Eddie, I'll go. I'll ramble for a quick moment until we get Jamila back. We should crowdfund her a better Wi-Fi router. That's the next. Jamila, we're crowdfunding you a better Wi-Fi router. That's the consensus here. Is that we need to invest in better Wi-Fi for Jamila.
We just
Oh.
Okay, it come back. Okay. Well,
all right.
Plugged into my uninterruptible power supply or what UBI.
Yay! All right.
Okay.
We lost you right before you were saying what your son. Yeah, you're saying what your son replied to you when you were like, "I'm not going to love you if you don't get into MIT."
You don't have to go. You can be a ventriloquist for all I care. But you've got to.
You just have to get in.
That way, I will know that I have done my best to prepare you academically. And for those who have met my kid, he needs no help socially.
He felt. However, this is the fruit from.
I'm sorry, I keep stepping on you because there's like a 2-second delay, and I'm sorry. So you know what?
Oh,
I'm going to say
don't
this.
Interrupt me all you have to.
Like we're doing the Clubhouse thing where it's like.
If you don't interrupt me, you don't get a word in. So interrupt me, please.
But like. Oh, super. So yeah, I realize that there are a lot of people, myself included, before I had a child, who were like, "How dare you attach love to a performance aspect of what your child? Don't you know that can give them negative self-esteem and like makes them whatever."
shit. Jamila, come back. No. Ah. It's we need to fix this wireless. I need to sit down and have a all right, tell me what you have for wireless, cuz this can't all right. Lost again. Crying face emoji. It's all right. For now, my theory is the internet doesn't want to know, or it's Jamila's wish list is now linked in the comments. It's if you guys can, it's just go. But look, I'm gonna ask Jamila to add like a router to a better wireless router to her wish list, and the wish list is now below, and it says send Jamila fuzzy thing. It's wherever it is down there. So go send Jamila. Just skip sending me stuff because I like. Basically everything I wear, pardon me, at this point is something you got, like the wigs are things you guys have sent me. By the way, I think I may have a new favorite like wig that I can just wear out because my God, this thing just looks like a normal hair. Like it almost, this basically looks like it's grew out of my head. But yeah, whatchamacallit, it's send if you guys are so inclined to buy things off of a wish list, hit Jamila's, hit hers. But yeah, we need we need to get this Wi-Fi situation or this wireless situation sorted because these conversations can't be pause, start, stop, and then redirected back to me. You guys get enough of just me on Fridays, but until she comes back, let's ramble a bit about CPAC, and maybe we can pick it up from there, and get back into the sun from that eventually. But yeah, CPAC is going on right now, and it's been interesting to see the news droppings that are coming out of there, and it's been why my phone is plugged into my computer and it's charging from there. And every time I open it up, like every 4 seconds, it's like, trust this computer. Well, there is a lot of porn on it, but we can trust it for now. Anyways, so yeah, it's been a little horrifying seeing the everything that's going on at CPAC, of course, because like I don't know about you guys, but Nick Fuentes got kicked out. They like it's interesting that like years of them, kind of crypto fascistically courting the crypto quietly courting the white nationalists or not pushing them away, not explicitly pushing them away, and Trump saying things like, well, they support me, so what's wrong with them, or just being friendly to white nationalists, which is just horrifying. Now they're like, oh yeah, we're not with them. Sure, sure. Like, and the one, like, they'll draw the line so far. Like, they'll tiptoe right up to it. They'll lick the other side of it. Then they're like, maybe we won't let the very worst of them in. But like, they're, is Marjorie Taylor Greene speaking at this thing? Like, didn't she have to like go to the Holocaust Museum to be like, oh yeah, the Holocaust, I hear it might have been bad. It might have been a little worse than being asked to show a vaccine card. Ooh, I hear a Jamila back in. I hear a Jamila. I see a Jamila. We have a Jamila. We have a Jamila. There's been an executive decision.
I think we do.
There's been an executive decision that we need to get the wireless, or we need to wire you into the internet. This has been it's been decided. So this is just we're wiring you into a wall.
I'm happy to do this. So I'm actually at I'm at a friend's place who I'm like, oh my God, can I run over? Yeah, so yay, thank you, KN. You are awesome. And so yay, KN is letting me use their Wi-Fi. Could tell, but like the lights went out where I was. There's so much construction happening at my building.
Oh God.
It's really unfortunate.
And everything's just going out.
It was that, but we've been doing upgrades because I'm in the crappiest building in the hottest neighborhood in all of DC. And so
gotcha.
Yeah, the building, we had them, they accidentally cut cable the other day. Some
Oh,
of the
shoot.
builders, when they were digging a line, found out that like there's some kind of oil spill or something.
Oh my God.
It's hilarious.
It's,
Those
I,
of you who know, I live at the Wharf in DC, so this neighborhood, crappiest building, yay property values.
Fun. Fun. Yeah, I just plug right into Ethernet. Like my jumble I'm just gonna show my jumble wires here. It's like it is what it has to be, next to a bullshit button, of course. It is what it has to be to get me plugged into a wall, because otherwise, like the wireless up here, like living in an attic, there is no way. Like back when I was recording my podcast in which I reviewed the plot lines in pornography, because I was a serious podcaster. Not. It's like it just kept cutting out. So eventually it was just like, plug me into the wall. This is the only way it'll work. But like, yeah, just on the Wi-Fi router, it's plugging it right in is gotten it way less annoying. So that's just the way that I function on it now.
Yeah.
So good time. It's so we just while we were waiting for you, we started rambling about CPAC.
Yes.
My theory is we're gonna go back to the sun later, because my theory is the wireless doesn't want to. It's like, no, we don't. It's the wireless is like it's rejecting the sun story, and we'll go back to that at the end. That is my theory. I'm wrong, but
Excellent.
I'm definitely wrong.
So CPAC, I addressed CPAC in 2015,
yeah.
right?
I know. And that's why that was a big reason I wanted to talk to you about that, because you were there back before, like right before it went totally fucking crazy. Like it was already, it was already CPAC, but like that was when Republicans and Democrats could still inhabited the same reality. What was it like then?
Yeah. And thing for me was speaking, and we all know the subtleties with the Democratic Party. Because my issue at that time was we were in DC selling a whole bunch of our public schools to the charter companies. And charters need not disclose any of their financial information. They kick out the kids who can't perform to the and cram them back into the public school that they took money from in the first place. So there had been a number of studies that came out and said there is demonstrably no performance of a charter school and a DC. Absolutely. And so when I went to talk about this as the mom of my kids know Little Miss Avant-Garde, but he is my intern at a year younger than she is. So
he's your son, so he's going to be pretty fucking smart.
I appreciate. There's Lisa Simpson. There's also the risk of Bart. So we'll take that with a great. Thank you.
But also, I mean, I see the way that you parent, and like
really, I did.
Yeah, you're a firm but kind parent, and you don't slack off with what you expect from your son, and it's nice to see someone who's as dedicated and involved, and like your stories like that you post on Facebook with the boy are just, I'm sorry, I live for them. Just post more of them. You're just I don't have kids, but I hope that if I were a parent, I hope that I could have as amusing and delightful of a relationship with my kid as you do. So I just, again, live for the boy stories.
Thank you. And I'm still the same mother that let him know if he does not get into MIT, I will still love him with a mother's love. Like, he needs siblings, me, to compete with for my affection. so I gotta give him my love. Yeah, back to CPAC.
Back to
I was really concerned that I was going to need to do what many of my friends did, which is either move to Virginia, move to Boston, or
Ooh.
move to the Bronx or Manhattan. It is cheaper to raise a child to the age of 18 years old in Manhattan, New York, than it is in Washington.
Oh my God.
All of camp, $1,800 a week in the summer. It like, if you are someone who cannot afford $5 a month for your kid in the summer, your kid is going to go to school behind. You know this. This is what I'm.
Wow.
Then they want to take money out of the schools, give it to others that don't have to tell what they're doing with the money, and then they dump the kids back into the lesser funded public schools. And I was like, what the hell? And I said some other things.
Yeah.
And Democrats in DC
I feel like
were really angry with me when I'm an atheist and not happy with me being this black lady atheist that wouldn't or God and whatever. And like, so there were a bunch of people who didn't want to hear anything. Another, like a third of the people didn't want to listen to me at all because you're an atheist and can't even be in the same room with you. Then there was like another third that was like, well, your kid's gonna be fine no matter what. What the hell care about? And I'm like, I care about the other little kids who, like me, were black children born to parents that don't have a lot of means. I've got two sisters younger than me who are smarter than me. We were all going to college at the same time, and the babies and epidemic teachers. Anyway, whatever. I'm the I care about other little black kids in DC who could very well grow up to be the next Neil deGrasse Tyson, but for the fact that their schools are not expecting the rigor and delivering the information they need, we might not ever know this. So a third of the people were like, well, your kid will be fine. You're just making something up. We haven't had any problems. And I'm like, but don't tell a journalist what we haven't had, because I'm going to provide you a lot of background.
There hasn't been a problem with money being taken away from public school. Really?
Yeah, maybe, whatever.
Wow.
Look at the 80-year, not even about, but little black boys in DC schools. Look at the 80-year history that I'm willing to concede post Brown, around Brown to now. We got to be doing better. And I chose to go to CPAC. And I went, there are a lot of people like me who are politically homeless. Okay, I don't belong anywhere because I vote per candidate, I vote per issue. I grew up,
and it always seems to be different locally.
In the days of when Arlen Specter.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. Like, and see, a Republican just means business owner, to be honest. I mean, a Republican indeed is liberal as they come until you start the pockets of California and Vermont.
Like I grew up, I was born in Massachusetts, grew up in New Hampshire, and a Massachusetts Republican is a Democrat anywhere south of Connecticut. Like we had Mitt Romney for our governor when I was in my mid-20s, and he gave us universal fucking health care. I needed shoulder surgery when Mitt Romney was our governor, and I got that for insurance that was subsidized to the point where I was only paying $130 a month for my health care. Now, it wasn't perfect health care. there were issues with it, but I was making really terrible money at the time. I was just out of grad school. I needed to work a second job to make ends meet, along with I was waiting tables while being a college professor, because fuck my life. But I had health care thanks to Mitt fucking Romney. And that healthcare ended up being the basis, basically the framework of the ACA. That's what a Republican is in New England. So local politics changed the definition of a Republican and a Democrat. Arlen Specter. Yep.
You can't be on my baby, please. Arlen Specter in Pennsylvania in the middle 80s to the middle 90s did more for unemployed Pennsylvanians than anybody else. One of my first feature stories as a young reporter, I put myself through undergrad reporting. So 19, I was doing the same job for $3.30 an hour that other people were putting their kids through college. But
oh, Jesus.
Digress. Arlen Specter to Pittsburgh brought a pass of young and who were single moms. And was a 16-year-old girl who had 2-year-old twins. And he listened, like, I'm just there as a reporter observing. He listened to the answers to his questions, which were, what do you need? What can you do to help you? What can we do to make sure your kids have the best opportunity to not the same position that their moms are in? He did a program with young fathers, young guys between and some that you were able to get the vibe for your families. What do you need to have that? Do you need to go to college, apprentice? Do you want to go to trade school? Programs can the state of Pennsylvania make available to you now so that you can live the kind of life you want? That wasn't about, well, you laid down with a girl, you deal with it. And if you didn't have any money, you should have condoms in the place.
It wasn't about punishing. It was about making the state better by making sure everyone could hit their means.
Also, people forget. Remember the compassionate conservatism? That was a thing.
Oh, man. Some of them actually were.
Democrats argued over. Yeah, they argued how best to feed American kids who are hungry. Not to.
If we should.
And I, in 2015, said, hey, this is the background I come from. I went to CPAC in Oxon Hill, Maryland, which is a rural farming community until now, and whatever. And I said, look, the kids who grew up like me, little Black children across the river here, are being denied the opportunity for an adequate and sufficient education. And then I got called racist. I pointed out the reality that these kids, like me, could not graduate and compete internationally. The kids from India and Nigeria getting into the school that these kids cannot get into. That's not me being racist or jingoistic. That's me saying I am for these children who are American kids. They are just like you. They are just like me. The only difference, whole people that look at them and don't share neuroscientist or 3-time Guinness World Record holder who's gonna tell him they and I said, give me a reason for you, because a lot of people who want that you care. I said that, and I got, oh my God, the excoriation.
And you were called racist for me. And wait, you were called racist by the Republicans or the Democrats?
No. The
Oh,
Republicans
Jesus. Yeah,
kind
it's
of liked me and were very nice to me. All of the fire that I got came from liberals and atheists and people who I really thought would
wow.
have recognized what I was doing. But
And it's what's funny
again,
is that oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, what's funny? Go ahead. I'm
Oh, it's funny. I
gonna
swear
take a
to
sip
God,
of
like
because a
I'm just
little
this is
bit
just
like foam fly.
this is just my guess, and I could be wrong. What's funny is that this was like before everyone kind of had like a racial reckoning as we've had in the last few years, where people are like, yeah, maybe it is harder to be black, and we should admit that. I'm gonna guess those same liberals who a few years ago were like, I don't know how to talk about race. It's uncomfortable, and like it is uncomfortable. There are things that I think probably a lot of white people are like, yeah, I was complicit. I said an uncomfortable, horrible thing that probably made a black friend feel terrible for a while. Like, I think people were like, I just don't want to talk about it because it's going to make the other side mad. Don't bring it up. Why are you talking about this? I'm going to guess a lot of those same liberals today would be like, Jamila, queen, to you, and be like, yes, of course, we need to fight racial inequality, and are probably on the exact opposite side of that. And I don't think it's like I think it's good that people have changed, but I also think a lot of people are disingenuous in how they attack it sometimes, or they do it because the crowd has moved as opposed to it being the right thing to do or listening to people. That's at least my guess. Because I've seen I've seen people calling them. This
You're
happened yesterday.
right.
I mean, people sometimes don't do the thing because it's right. They do it because the crowd is doing it. I just completely different example. And I just like yesterday you saw this happen. Somebody told me that my dog should be used for medical research, basically saying your dog should die. And a bunch of social justicey people were like, because I posted a picture of that image onto my Facebook. Some people are like, you're being a bully for putting this person's name out there. I'm like, this person just told me my dog should die. And I'm like, the social justicey people that told me I was being a bully, they just see that as like the definition of bullying under the social justice paradigm that they have working right now. They know that what this person just said to me is wrong, but like they just have to show they're like, I'm saying the right thing. I'm telling the person she's being a bully. But like, a few years ago, they probably would have looked at that and been like, yeah, it's wrong that someone said your dog should die. Like, I think that sometimes, like I said, I look at some of these things and go, they're just doing what they're not thinking through the like I should do the right thing. Like a few years ago, it deeply bothers me. It, number one, doesn't surprise me, and number two, it deeply bothers me that people that I'm almost sure would treat the whole situation differently today were like, please don't bring up the race thing. This makes me I don't see. Let me give a Did you ever get hit with this? I don't see color from the same group of white liberals. I don't see color. Do
Oh
you
yeah.
really? Are you sure?
But
Can I borrow your
it's like,
foundation, Nancy?
well, you better. You better.
Oh
Exactly.
man.
How about
Jesus.
you use my hair products for a day and see what happens? Okay. You don't see race. Okay.
Will this
So
contour
I have
will
to
this
shout
contour palette work on you,
out.
Jamila? Just I'm sitting at my makeup desk. Do you think this will highlight and just
What
it could.
you know
It'll highlight.
and it's funny. It's funny because we recognize that this is I have to take a moment because we're coming back to CPAC in just a second. But I have to
Yeah.
go to Nicole Anna Jones, the GOAT, the
Oh
Queen.
yeah. Oh yeah.
She
Mm,
she's like
love her.
3 weeks older than me. I feel like
She
such a failure.
you
Well,
know,
she,
it's we
a
got to tell
MacArthur
ourselves
Genius
not a race.
National Awardee,
Jesus, that's so
a
cool.
Pulitzer Prize winner.
Yeah,
She
this is
is the
amazing what she did.
only night chair in the history of night chairs at UNC who would not have been granted tenure to teach School of Journalism. She also highly decorated, highly to be offered this particular endowed chair. Of course, we know that she was like, oh, hello, I am not going to come to you after
she knew her worth.
You racistly denied her, and then it took the whole school to have its own, outside pressure. Other trustees like does not look good. And the fact that I'm sorry, all the North Carolina schools blurry texting our mom now to tell on me. Anyhow, I didn't mean to say Duke, UNC.
There won't be too much. Yeah, she hasn't tuned into the podcast yet or into the live stream yet, but one day. Just
awesome.
Nicole, come on.
The thing is, she's going to Howard, literally up the street from me. He's taking this. Yay! She tenured. Her donors have already given Howard $20 million, whereas the money hasn't come in to UNC yet. Furthermore, through a great many back channels, because to be blunt, yes, I know Black people and female women in journalism, whatever. We're all removed of that. Through back channels, I know for a fact that there are a whole lot of other schools that are like, if Howard does not please you at all, we will give you tenure the day you
we're here for you. We got a place for you.
Do whatever you want. And
it's enough schools know that she's going to pull in students as part of it.
So the ability, I'm in the middle of this program right now, and I'm like, now I gotta go Howard hard. I'm probably gonna do it. I say that I bring her up to say the whole reason that you have here, of course, is that academic to bring up ideas that may not be popular. You need to be able to ask questions that people might object to. You need to ask people to hold a thought in their mind, whether they agree.
It's a very important part of tenure.
Concerned about your job if somebody leaks a clip of Tucker Carlson or what have you. That said, no way tenured. I'm not on anybody's tenure track. Showed up at CPAC 2015 before it turned into all Trump all the time and had literal people, Nazi people walking with their armbands. And
Simon has entered the chat.
I went into the lion's den and said, damn it, consider little Black children, because nobody, and if you really do care about this country, and if you really do want the best for America, you will recognize that, I am the darker brother, I too sing, and for that, I can tell you for that, as of February, there was said, my speech, and she didn't hear it. I said, well, the transcripts, and in that moment, I realized I will not be working here. That really is unfortunate because I would.
No.
And
that's weird. That's interesting. It's like the liberals would say they're kind of weird.
Have a tar on you for daring to be a woman with an opinion.
It's like liberals would voice their weird, creepy liberal discomfort with race to their face, and Republicans, after being like, "Oh yeah, we love you, come over, we're going to be nice to you," would be like, "Oh, we just didn't hear the speech." I don't know. Am I getting that wrong, or because I lost a few of that, a little bit of that from the reception, but it was that kind of there's the dichotomy. One of them would be like, "Yeah, we're uncomfortable talking about this." The other one would just pretend it didn't happen and not rehire you, or.
Well, it was frankly a liberal organization.
Okay, gotcha. I miss her. Yeah.
Admitted, we don't know what to say enough. So,
okay, gotcha.
I'm so sorry about the reception issues. Yeah.
My husband is walking over with my buddy dog. Are you?
Yeah, we're hardwired me for that.
Yeah, we can. Oof. Here's my buddy dog is out of his cone. I'm so happy. He's no longer Crystal Dick is no longer Crystal Dicked, and he is for anyone who my husband just walked over and carried him over to me. For anyone who's still worried, because yesterday I posted that he had quote licked his crotch or inspected the doctor's handiwork for 3 hours nonstop. He had obviously not been licking his crotch for 3 hours nonstop. He was licking other parts too, but I knew that when we got the cone off of him, and the doctor had said this, he was going to lick everything for a while because he hadn't touched anything below his face for 3 weeks, and he had a lot of things to clean out. But after he cleaned everything thoroughly, he calmed the fuck down, and I've been making sure he's not going at anything too. But there is a risk of them infecting things and needing another surgery if they go a little too ham on their new pee hole. And he's got himself a little science doggy vagina now. They cut him a new hole. He had himself a major surgery. But yeah, he's doing well. He's happier. He's bouncing around. He's not in any pain anymore. You should have seen him when I threw a toy for him yesterday and he could actually catch it instead of physics being like, no, the code says you can't catch toys. He was so happy. But he hasn't been able to do stairs for 3 weeks because number one, they didn't want, a stitch to rip. But number two, the cone just got in the way of fucking stairs. So today, and yesterday he was fine on stairs, but he was just so happy to bounce up and down the stairs. Today, my husband goes to walk him this morning and Buddy just tumbled head over ass down the stairs. It's luckily it was only 5 stairs, but Jesus, this dog, he's not coordinated, not at all. Look, we love our furry little friend, but we don't get them for their brain power. That's not what we get them for. We get them for the snuggles and for the cuteness. But he's so much. But yeah, let's get you. I'll tell you what I've got to wire.
Outweigh their
but yeah, I have a 50-foot Ethernet cable and an extender thing that I can whenever I want to be because this room is not well air conditioned. My bedroom right over there is, so whenever I want to be in the air conditioned room, I take the extender and go there. But yeah, let's just get you a nice long Ethernet cable and you'll be golden. You'll be so much happier. Trust me. Now, I know whenever my because I still like sitting over in the other parts of the room with the Wi-Fi, but whenever Wi-Fi is being a cunt, I'm nah, we're not dealing with this anymore. Ethernet and even then, because I live in LA and Ethernet and cable, internet in this country is bad. That'll still cut out of me sometimes too, but it's better. It's much better. But there was a comment in here earlier that I wanted to address because I had mentioned about being a waitress being a professor. Oh, here we go. Being a professor and having to wait tables now. And somebody said a professor needs to wait tables, but Twitch streamers can be millionaires and playing Minecraft. So let's talk about that for a second, just because I want to clarify a few things. Now, I was literally months out of grad school. Actually, technically, I got my diploma in the mail from England. I didn't even get to go to my graduation because graduation was in November. I was making no money because I was an adjunct professor, so I couldn't afford to go to my own graduation in England. That's my own damn fault for deciding to go to school abroad. But anyways, I was an adjunct, and they're like, yeah, if you teach one more class, then you're making full-time money and getting health insurance, but we're not going to give you that class so we can fuck you over with benefits. So I was basically teaching full time, getting fucked over on benefits, and I was waiting tables on the side. And that's a really common thing to happen in American academia. Is that a ton? I forget what the percentage is, but you'll be sad. You'll be fucking sad if you're working on your PhD and you're like, I want to be a professor eventually, and then you find out how many things are handled by adjuncts, and that your career might just be adjuncting for the rest of your life because they're just not giving those positions out anymore. Sorry. But yeah, I was I was an adjunct, and I enjoyed teaching, and this is really sad because I like beginning of the year it wasn't as rough, but end of the year I was so exhausted because I was working so many hours waiting tables, because like the more hours I worked waiting tables, the more money I made. But the more hours I focused on teaching, I wasn't making any more money, and I needed to pay my bills. And the school was like, why aren't you like, it was just, I didn't feel like I had the time to give to the students, because the school was not paying me enough. And the students suffered for that. I think like I was teaching an analytical chemistry course, and, I was a good enough teacher, but I think the students deserve better than good enough. In that, and it's because the school just did not pay enough, and they pay poverty wages because they can. And I went to that school for undergrad, and I had full-time teachers when I was in that course. And that's just really fucked up that that's changed since I went there. But the other point of this, a professor needing to wait tables and Twitch streamers being millionaires, most Twitch streamers, and I am streaming to Twitch right now. Most Twitch streamers are not millionaires, and a lot of professors make like $500,000 a year, like in chairs of departments at larger universities, people with tenure. So you got to remember there's a big spread in terms of Twitch streamers, and there's a big spread in terms of professors. So it's not that like every professor is waiting tables, and it's not that every Twitch streamer is a millionaire. So we got to remember there's a sampling error in here. Like I'm a full-time writer working on my own, and you kind folks pay me via Patreon. If you're not doing that yet, go to patreon.com/SciBabe and start giving me money because you love my shit. Anyways, but I do really, really well for somebody who works independently via Patreon, and I'm in the top 1% of people on Patreon, and there's still a huge spread between like the bottom of the top 1% and the top of the top 1%. It's a crazy spread in there, and I'm considered a successful independent writer. So, it takes all kinds, and I'm not being my first year out of grad school and having a rough time making ends meet was shitty. It was super fucking shitty. It would have been way easier if I just had health insurance guaranteed. But I'm not mad at the Twitch streamers for being millionaires. Like, let's just be clear. It's cool. Like, the Twitch streamers making money is not like, it's not the fault of the American education system or the American, specifically the academia and college system, that Twitch streamers can make money. I'm happy for them. I'm technically am one of them. It's just the American academia should pay better, fucking better. Like, and one thing I asked, I remember being, when I was a teacher, I was at a meeting with they were going over college budgets and whatnot. I'm like, so can we see the budgets and see like where the money goes here? Because I attended the school, and 10 years ago, tuition was about half as much. So are the teachers getting paid twice as much now? I'm going to guess they're not. And this was like a direct quote from one of the college CFO, or one of those, one of the people that handles the money. He eventually is like, well, no, we have to put more money into advertising the basketball team. It's not going all there. I'm like, did you really just say that all that money's going into fucking advertising and the basketball team? Like, I get it, basketball needs money, but most students are not playing basketball, going to basketball games, or thinking that they're the $30,000 they're paying for tuition when it was $16,800 my first year. They don't think it's going to the basketball team. They think it's going to facilities. So it was very strange teaching at a school where I knew the place inside and out, and seeing how much it cost and seeing how little they paid a huge percentage of their faculties. So that was my experience being a college professor. I'm sorry to the students that were in my analytical chem class that I could have put that I didn't have the time to devote as much as I would have wanted to class, because they didn't pay me very well and I needed to support myself. So that was my experience being a teacher at the college level, and they didn't pay enough.
It's madness. It is madness.
Indeed. But I'm just...
When you look at men or tenured, we recognize a big number of Black women who get college inflation has outpaced every measure of inflation everywhere. It's no wonder that you've got kids who go to college and feel like, I'm paying for this. You You just, you are something that I have bought
Give me the degree.
and you serve me and just give me my
Yeah.
degree. Exactly. It's really unfortunate. The loss of the thinking class in this country is something that we really need to reckon with here. I'm not in a way saying that this, oh, there are a lot of countries where they just straight up killed all the academics. We know this. We know what happened in the and I am arguing that equally recap some of our best thinkers and writers has an effect where if you're intellectual arriving endure and not help people
I'm losing you, Jamila.
People better, create more impressively, bigger, improve the serve them. I don't know for a fact, and I will never find out, but I have lost again.
It's been hit or miss. Like it's been a lot of for the last little bit. I'm like, Jamila, get back. I need to hear you. Okay, now there seems to be better. Okay, I'm getting you now. So.
Yay. Okay. I need to tell the story of Uber I've ever had in my life.
Nice.
My friend has said, let me. I'm going to be back in 2 to 3 minutes and have a connection.
All right. Oh.
Stand by.
All right. I'm gonna take you off the screen for now. And it's okay. You'll still. I'm gonna ramble for a few minutes then. All right, I'm gonna take Jamila off the screen just for now. Oh wait, I'm gonna be here. Hey guys. So, anywho, hold on a second. There were a few things I want to chat about today. Oh, let's see. And we'll get through them all. I heard Jamila. We need to get that connection. I'm just like I'm sending her after this. I'm sending her links to thing and being like, put this on the wish list. We're making the connection work because there's I've had some of these conversations with her before, and I'm like, I know these stories are gold. You need to hear them. When I listen to Jamila on Clubhouse, there's no issue. It's it could be. It's possibly that. It possibly could be a thing with Restream. It might be that she's going through her computer and not her phone. I'm not sure what it is. But also it's I know you're saying maybe going audio only, but we're doing a visual medium here. So instead of going audio only, let's get the connection fixed. And I know you're saying, I'm sure you're meaning for, buddy's like, I want off your lap, mom. It's been enough snuggle time. My dog is tired of me, folks. See, Frank saying advertising for basketball, hire the adjuncts as full time and pay the basketball. Yeah, I mean, there are so many things that go wrong in terms of where the money gets routed in college. I don't even know where to start with it. The administrators, and yeah, you need some administrators in a school. Obviously, things need to run, but I'm still at a loss for how they get millions and millions of dollars a year in donations, in endowments, and need to charge the students and this is they're obviously getting money for room and board, so it's not like the tuition is covering things on top of. It's not like the tuition is going for other living expenses for the students. I thought this was supposed to be for academic expenses. Instead, I was told quite point blank by one of the administrators at the school, oh, this is going for things like advertising and marketing and basketball. That fucking hurts. That really hurt to find out, when I'd been a student at the school and when I was at the time not being paid enough by them. And then years later, there was a student who had accused someone of sexual assault, and had gone through the adjudication process at the school, and it made the papers when the guy got off for it. And a bunch of me and a bunch of my girlfriends who'd gone there before sat down and were like, wow, the administration really dropped the ball on every sexual assault and rape case that they ever had. So just saying, Emmanuel College, good job. Emmanuel College in Boston, not Atlanta, or sorry, not Georgia. Just want to clarify. So really well done. It was funny. Just because I'm telling tales out of school today, it seems. When that case happened, I was in touch with a student that had dealt with the sexual assault, and she sent me the documents that had been, because they weren't closed. She had handled them. They were in her possession, and the school seemed to think that all the documents from the because they'd had a trial, some sort of because with chapter. Is it chapter 9? Chapter either way. The sexual equality. Is it a title? Either way. Title 9, I think. Yeah, Title 9. With Title 9, they try sexual assault cases on campus, basically to as a not a legal proceeding, but hey, is this person who's been accused going to stay on campus or not? And it's a strange set. Anyways, and the kid had not been found guilty of shit, of course. And the girl that had accused him just ended up transferring schools because she's like, this is also horrifying, and the way the school handled it was pretty terrible. She sent me the documents, and when I contacted the school, they basically refused to communicate with me. And then I was like, so I have my hands on all the documents from the case, and they're like, what do you need to know? And suddenly they were very, they were not happy. They were suddenly willing to, not willing to talk, but they were like, oh, fuck. Guess we have to talk to you now. And the problem was this was pre-Me Too, and nobody was willing to publish at the time. So it was very interesting when suddenly I had to look at the school's confidential papers, and I was a journalist with a big reach. They were willing to anyways. I just wanted to throw it out there that Emmanuel had their shit, and they were a good little Catholic college. So that was that. Wasn't there one U.S. college that got $1 million from their librarian who saved Ella's life, then spent it on a scoreboard? Oh, I did not know if that. I wouldn't be shocked. I have things that I would donate to at my undergrad. I would donate directly to the theater department, but I would have to give it straight to one of the professors in that department, and not and it would have to be earmarked straight to go to the theater guild there, because it was interesting. We joked that there was this thing, an organization that we called CAT, the Committee Against Theater, and we also joked, we actually had a nun for the president of my college, Sister Janet Eisner, and we joked that she was also the president of CAT, because somehow just things kind of it's kind of, tale as old as time. You have a school that has a relatively successful sports program, and I believe that I don't know if they'd been national champions, but I know our basketball team had gone to the NCAA Division III Final Four for basketball. So that, no shit, they had a good basketball team. But also, the academic program's not getting money because they're it's the theater program not getting money, even though it's an academic program, because the basketball team needs it. Tale as old as time. Yeah, so that's some shit that we were used to. But it was my undergrad experience in terms of my life there was, fine enough, but finding out all the things that happened on the other side of it as a adjunct, and seeing how poorly the adjuncts were paid, and seeing years after I left a girl going through the sexual assault adjudication process, and seeing how awful the school was to her, and seeing how non-transparent they were to a journalist, and seeing that they would only talk when their hand was really, really forced, was disappointing. And it made me wonder how many people I went to school with that went through the same thing, that kind of stuff. So anyway, that was my experience at Emmanuel College in Boston. I just want to make sure you all remember, Emmanuel College in Boston. Don't apply. Allegedly. This is all alleged. I mean, they can come and yell at me if they want, but they'd have to prove that I was, telling tales out of school. literally. Anyways, I'm not sure if Jamila's coming. I mean, I'm sure she's coming back, but I'm not sure when. So let's ramble a bit about some of the other. Oh my God, Sarah Palin is trending, and I'm not sure whether to be excited or terrified. Let's find out. The first tweet up here is: have we ever seen Sarah Palin and Lauren Boebert in the same place at the same time? Oh my God, I finally found a conspiracy I can believe in. I'm just gonna go with fuck it. That's it. I've decided Sarah Palin and Lauren Boebert are the same person. Like Sarah Palin was like, I need an act 2. Someone make this shit over. And they just like, they got a few inches of height off. They added some hair extensions. They tightened a few things, and boom. She's a crazy person from Colorado instead of a crazy person from Alaska. There we go. Oh, let's see. Boebert, we're here to tell government we don't want your benefits. We don't want your will. Oh, let's see. An SNL cold open come to life and somehow elected to Congress. All right, let's hear this.
We're here to tell government we don't want your benefits. We don't want your welfare. Don't come knocking on my door with your Fauci outie. You leave us the hell alone.
Like I just think it's interesting that a rep, a paid congresswoman who works for she is the government. How does she tell the government that she doesn't want benefits when she's making $180 some odd $1,000 a year of tax dollars? She gets paid from tax dollars. Her entire salary is benefits. She is a welfare program. She is a high school dropout who just got her GED, which again, like, I'm not going to rag on someone for getting their GED. Well done, Lauren. But just saying, she's entirely underqualified. She is now, Lauren Boebert is on welfare. I'm just saying. She is on the weirdest welfare program ever, though. But why? But the other thing is, I look at these types of things and I'm like, why do they hate their constituents? Because there are people that voted for her, undoubtedly, who are, who are still on state benefits, who are going to be on benefits for a while, who might be on benefits for their entire life. And there's nothing wrong with that, because there are some people who, through various types of illnesses and through for various reasons, can't work. It's not the right thing for them. It's not the right thing for any employer to have them, whether it's mental health, whether it's physical health. And some people are going to be on state benefits forever. I grew up and I was on food stamps, and that's part of a thing that happens when your parents are poor. It's really gross to see reps making, I don't know, potentially children feel bad about the fact that their parents are poor. Like, I was made to feel shame when I was a kid about how my parents made me able to eat. I don't know. It's kind of gross to see a rep being like, and I mean, we've seen this for years and years and years from a lot of Republicans being like, benefits are bad. No one's dying to stay on benefits. This is not a thing people are like, yeah, let's do. Benefits are there for when you need them. And it's gross seeing a rep be like, no, let's take them all away. So, and Jamila's back. We're hopefully wired into a wall. We can do this. Jamila has not transformed into a black rectangle that I know of. I'm gonna turn the camera back off. She's in the green room. I'm waiting for oh wait, there we go. I see you, Jamila. I see you. I see you. Can I hear you? Say something, anything.
Okay.
Oh, that was a lot of volume all at once. But I heard all of it.
So sorry. Oh, so I am plugged into an Ethernet cable. I'm using I'm using a, what do you call that thing? I don't know. I'm using a laptop, and I'm redoing my kitchen, so I'm turned weirdly because you cannot see the utter squalor. I just pulled all this stuff
It's
out. I got these stick-on tiles
Jamila,
I'm
did
doing.
you see those weeks where people were seeing this from me? Like, there's I lived in a construction zone. Like, people have seen worse. Don't worry. They
Oh
came
my
back.
goodness.
They came back for the
Oh
two of us.
good.
They're here. So don't if
So
there's
yeah.
construction, there people understand that we're living real lives and we're not in a studio. So
Yeah.
if there's a cat that's recently destroyed something, they're down. Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, so peel and stick tile.
Oh,
I've gotten addicted to all of the DIYers on
nice.
Instagram and what have you. And so
Oh, yeah.
I've like pulled all my stuff out and stacked it up, and I'm trying to make my kitchen look appealing.
It's
Um
Kiko says to show us the mess.
I
It's
would, but I'm literally, I've got like a 2-inch window I can move this laptop. Otherwise, I pull the Ethernet cable
you know what?
out.
Leave it
So
where it is.
I'm kind of,
It's like this internet
yes.
connection is working. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Nice.
So okay.
I was ranting about
Lovely.
my
So what?
I took let's see. I took the time to rant about my undergrad and how they and how they covered up sexual assault cases. So that was fun. It's like once in a rant about how
Don't
they
they
underpaid
all?
people and that yeah. It's I had a really specific because I was a journal. Sorry, stuttery. They had a case that hit the papers a few years post Me Too or pre Me Too, but after I'd been babing and and a girl had. It's the long and short of it was I'd been in touch with the girl that it happened to, and reached out to her. We looked over the documents from it, and the school at first was like, we have nothing to say. Here's the document, the statement we released in the papers. And then when I was like, I have all the documents from the trial, they're like, what do you need to know? I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's funny. Funny how that fucking works, that you suddenly have more to say now that you know I know everything. But it was
Mhm.
fucking disheartening to know these are the people that educated me.
Yeah, I did my undergrad at a university that was in the news because one of its adjuncts froze to death in her unheated, squalid apartment. Um,
Holy shit.
yeah,
Oh my
and of
God.
course it was, well, she had mental health issues and she needed help and whatnot. And I'm like, if
She
she'd
needs
been able to
money.
have, if yeah, she needed heat. If she'd been able to afford heat, um,
Why'd you hire her if she was so fucking crazy? You hired this person to be around students, and their
uh-huh.
excuse is, well, she was so crazy, she didn't know how to keep warm.
Uh-huh. But your students all learned from her.
She was just
Peculiar.
she was good enough to
Peculiar.
teach whatever the fuck it was, but heat evaded her. Stay warm was
Exactly.
too difficult. Don't
Yeah.
freeze to death was.
It I just I wish this is where again CPAC's going on right now, and while there are a great many of those folks who are beyond any kind of reach or reason. If we have, which we do in this country, a two-party system,
Yep.
one cannot abdicate all responsibility for 50% of the political parties, which are put in places to lead to govern. And the issues of adjuncts, the issues of healthcare, the issues of what do you do when you've got a huge population of young unwed parents who aren't making it and need help with their children. Those are issues of governance and policy, and whether or not you think that those fast ass young people shouldn't be having sex, or those
They will be.
mentally problematic adjuncts need to be having health care, or it's like, well, less than 2% of tenured professors in the US are Black women, so yeah.
right.
I think if you put more Black women and more women in general in positions of leadership and power, you might have less of the issues you've got now. Why don't we try it and see what happens?
A thing I found out recently, there's a page that I follow on Facebook called Black Men in White Coats, and I love it. It's about it's Black male doctors, and it's just
they're hot.
Oh, fuck yes, they are. And I love it because, of course, they're not just following, Black male doctors. It's all Black excellence. It's wonderful. And like it's just all the stories in there are fucking heartwarming and wonderful. And of course, it's also telling, in several cases, the hard, the very difficult aspects of their lives that they go through to get to where they are. And a statistic came out on there the other day that just was as heartbreaking. Only 2% of doctors in America are Black men. That's a bit of a mismatch with how many with the percentage of Black men there are in America, and obviously there are enough intelligent, capable Black men and women to fill a much higher percentage of those roles that want those jobs, that are trying to, that are just not getting those opportunities for some fucking reason. Just saying.
Someone will have to check my math on this. But last I checked, Howard University, where Nicole Hannah-Jones is going to be teaching this fall with tenure, graduates something like 40% of Black doctors in the U.S. Check my math on that.
Not surprised at all.
There's also Morehouse, there's Meharry Medical School, and I'm forgetting a couple others too. I know Lincoln University. So yeah, there's
So a while ago, I did an article on this. There was a medical schools about 100 years ago and this is just a bizarre bit of medical history. And this is how, like, when people are like, systemic racism isn't a thing, I'm like, shut the fuck up. I have history to tell you. And there's, obviously there's a ton of history on it, but this is an interesting little nugget of it. So once upon a time, medical schools were kind of scattered. They didn't like plop from the sky, perfectly regulated. Here they are, Merry Christmas. They were bullshitty medical schools. There were better ones. There were apprenticeships, and at one point, this guy Abraham Flexner, I might be getting the first name incorrect, but the last name was Flexner, went through and just examined a bunch of medical schools, and he was a really good educator. That was like he had made a bunch of money basically on the original charter schools, and had but he was a good educator, and the people who were running medical schools were like, hey, can you go out and like audit all our medical schools and see which ones are good and which ones kind of blow, and he did. And the good thing was it got rid of a lot of shitty medical schools, like ones that are like, yeah, we can heal you with energy. He's like, no, you can't. But he was like, yeah, Black doctors should be subservient to white doctors, and they should only work on Black people, and they should only really do hygiene things, and they shouldn't do anything that's like real medicine-y. And they went through and shut down all but a few of the schools that trained Black doctors. So this was about 100 years ago, and they still, like, even though obviously Black people are being trained at all medical schools in the U.S. now, the medical schools that had been open it took a long time for other medical schools to start training Black doctors, like years, decades and decades, and so we haven't caught up in terms of older Black doctors. That's not a thing that we'll get caught up on, and it's going to take years and years and years for just the population of Black doctors to catch up from that original fucking sin of the Flexner report. So that's a bit of history. When people are like, I don't believe that there's systemic, it was worked into the medical system. That's a thing that we did. So
and it's something that it's not racist to bring up the history of what actually happened. And
not at all.
The truth of the matter is that there was just so I come from Pittsburgh. I come from the place where it's the organ transplant capital of the world. Some of the best medical research it comes out of there, and Pittsburgh has one of the highest Black and infant mortality, maternal mortality rates in the world, not just in the U.S. Statistically speaking, it is safer for a Black baby to be born in Costa Rica than Pittsburgh, PA. Yeah, it's really terrible. when we consider that Black women were used by J. Marion Sims, the father of gynecology, air quotes, enslaved Black women were used to perfect various gynecologic techniques without their consent, without any kind of consideration of them as a human being. Not to mention there were no any kind of analgesic drugs given. They just vivisected as it were.
And even today, like there are doctors that have to be told, no, Black people don't have thicker skin. They feel, but like there are doctors that need that in America that need to be retold that no, Black people have the same number of pain receptors in their skin. Why do we need to tell doctors that? Why is that a thing we still need to train people about?
So
yikes.
This matters when you go to when you present to a doctor who doesn't see you as a full human being, when you show up and you recognize that people aren't listening to you, when you realize that your mother or baby isn't getting the care they need because of what you happen to look like, it's a problem. You have, I can't remember the guy's name, and I'll find it and share it later, but there's a Black man who's a medical student who last year during the pandemic came up with a website to help people figure out what rashes look like on dark skin.
I remember that.
Yeah, you're never going to see, until I'm dead, you're not going to see a gray rash on my chest. Flushing in me, even though I'm not the darkest skin tone you're going to find, flushing on me is going to look different from someone with much paler skin, where the minute a blush comes up, you see red quickly. The undertones in my skin are kind of reddish oranges. So until like something really spreads on me, you will see it, but you're going to miss those early first stages. And if you've got somebody who's a gorgeous chocolate brown, you're never going to see the pink blushing or the red dots. You will see other things that will make it clear, okay, this is what we're dealing with. But if you're looking at skin color where you hope to have that very pale or fair skin tone, that's not the reality of what a disease or an illness, or even something as stupid as contact dermatitis. Take out the earrings, Jamila, and your ear will turn back to its normal shade. But it looks different on me than it does on you. And there are physicians who have no knowledge of this, who have
and doctors need that chart so that they're not looking at you going, well, it doesn't look the same as Yvette, so it's fine. The fact that that chart was needed and hadn't been made until now is kind of disappointing. But really, it's good on that med student for finally being like, "Yep, we're fixing this. We're not letting this keeping on happening." But Jesus, that only happened last year. Wow,
last year it was during the pandemic. Yep.
The number of times in my life I'm going to go, that was only fixed now, and that's going to keep on happening. Like, I know that's just going to keep on. Like, my little white head is going to keep on being shocked at the number of things that are keeping on happening. This is this all sounds exhausting, and I hate people.
Well, we're having the conversations, and we're moving forward so that someday this will be passed.
Someday we are not in a post-racial society yet.
But little woman brain can own property without your husband or your daddy saying it's okay. You, though you are a married lady, don't need your husband's permission to go and get birth control or a credit card anymore. Those things are past. And as humanity progresses, stuff happens, but oh God, it takes a while.
Yeah, people are. There's an article that I read like every once in a while on Cracked from I think he used to write under the pen name David Wong. I think it's changed. So I think they've actually changed the pen name on the article, but it's talking about how it's basically it's at one point in the article it says your brain is always going to fight attempts to become a better person, and I apply that to society as a whole because no one wants to find out that they were wrong. No one wants to hear you treated someone poorly. No one wants to hear the way that you looked at this whole thing. You were missing giant pieces of information, and that made you act like a dick. Because that just sounds like this is all you. And it's like, some of it was you, but some of it was just how society was wrong, and you got to unlearn some shit. People don't like hearing that. Like, I'm no exception to that. I've probably heard you did this thing wrong and went, no, how could I have been we're all the problem at some point, and we gotta, like, instead of going, I couldn't have been the problem, go, well, how can I be a less shitty person and be part of the thing that makes us not the problem anymore? I believe the word to that's the solution, but like I refuse to sound like I'm actually fixing something when like I'm just making myself less shitty. I'm like, I'm de-shittening.
Yeah.
That's the like
de-shittening, yes.
De-shittening.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
It's like, let's just try to de-shitten the situation.
If we think, one of the things that just infuriates me to hear is, oh, well, I don't agree with everything X says, but I'll vote for X anyway. And I'm going, do you agree with 100% of the things that you personally have said or done? And before you answer that, you've got a phone with texts in it, and you probably have at least one X in your past. Do you agree with 100% of all of the things you've ever said, namely, oh, baby, I love you forever? If we could recognize that we just have to do incrementally better, which I'm trying to do with my diet, which is why I'm trying to go in my de-shit. Oh man,
I need to de-shitten.
Yeah, I'm trying.
That's what I do when I walk the dog. I de-shitten him.
I've spent my whole life hating cats. I just didn't really like them. They're all weird.
Now you have the red murder demon.
And now I have one myself. And I'm like, oh my God. And I scoop it. Oh God. Yeah, the idea of scooping litter is just so hard for me. I do it.
Coughing thinking about it.
Oh man. Oh.
It can be fucking rank.
Oh man, I'm like, wow, how do you turn fancy feast into that? But science.
A cat is just a machine for making cat food smell worse. That's all they are. Just somehow, man, like, it doesn't smell good to start with, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna make you thought the smell bad already? Challenge accepted. So it's quick. We're coming up to the hour and a half mark, and I try to wrap this around them because we got shit to do. But like, let's quickly bounce through a few news subjects today because Richard Branson's in space, and should we even let the billionaires back on the planet? I think since they're all flying out there, I think they can find themselves a meteor to just hang out on and never come back. Like,
I here's where I'm going to try and get myself canceled on your show.
Oh, don't worry. It's there.
I don't care. Bomb the Vatican. The Vatican has more money to cure homelessness and hunger and
don't
child
bomb
rape. They can fix child rape.
Well, if we bomb it, then we can't take the money. So first we get the money, then we get the power, then we get the sugar. first we take Like, I want to just steal that collection of the Pope's dresses and be like, this is a man who's against homosexuality. All these dresses, really. He wears fancy little red shoes and gilded cages. Just so let's not bomb it. Let's steal it.
Okay, steal from the Vatican.
No, not from. I want a coup. I want, like, we can coup other countries. Let's coup the Vatican. I think that's what we're gonna do. Like we're gonna
Yahoo. Yeah.
it's
Screw Branson. Screw Musk. I gotta be honest. Okay.
We're cooing the Vatican.
My kid is one of the my kid is the youngest one on the MIT Hyperloop project.
Nice.
He's an intern.
Oof.
Yay.
The Hyperloop terrifies me. I don't think that if there's a crash in that, anyone's gonna live, because you're all in an underground tunnel and it's gonna be, but that's just, maybe he'll fix that.
Well, get them young, get them thinking about it. And also, DC to Manhattan in like 35 minutes.
Oh my God.
I'll take my chances.
It's just, most of those 35 minutes will be fine. Once every 6 months, everyone dies. Just don't be on that 6 months.
Yeah, but if again, so here's where Jamila goes racist, because if you bring up another country, that's racism, according to
my mom said I love you when you said to bomb the Vatican. So Mom approves of your plan to bomb the Vatican.
Bomb the Vatican. I love you, Mom. If we look at what our counterparts in Japan and China are doing with high-speed trains, there's no reason that I should have to sit in a bus station hoping that I can, get from DC to Boston in fewer than 10 hours. Even our trains, DC to Boston, are about 10 hours.
Yeah.
It's an hour and 10-minute flight. But if we want to do it on land, it's going to take 10 hours. It's nonsensical. The science exists, the technology exists, and if we were to use the trains that they are currently safely transporting people in Japan with, I could be to Boston from from DC in like 2 to 3 hours. We've got to decide, a la Kennedy putting a man in space, that this is the problem we're going to solve. This is the technology we are going to produce. American ingenuity used to be something that we believed in and we put our weight behind. It's now now it requires that we look at kids with last names that have, that you can look at and go, wow, that's probably not an Anglo person. It requires that you look at kids with hair like mine and say, maybe she's the solution. It requires that we don't just put our resources educationally into, frankly, little white kids, even though some of them have parents who just got off of a plane a generation ago. Okay. But they've got that light skin, so clearly they're American. No, you invest in all of the children, and you invest in the people who want to make it better. And if you've got some megalomaniacal, egomaniac, cartoon
super villain
to be villain, I'm going to go to space and now I'm going to make the space people work for me. I'm like, try that without a whole bunch of scientists who, have weird accents to you, Richard Branson. But whatever. I don't give it. Like, I bomb the Vatican and that'll make me happy. Still the Vatican. At least take the shoes and one of those shepherd staffs.
Yes,
then,
one of the golden ones with take the incense too. They have been abusing that incense for years. They need to use like one maybe 2% of what they've been using. This is an incense abuse. Take all the incense along with that staff.
Exactly. Like I
we
just
put it to better use.
Yeah. And then after the Catholic Church, audit the Mormons and
oh my God! Yes. And I mean, I say this knowing as soon as I say this, like they're gonna be, they're gonna like come in with a burlap sack and take me and beat me somewhere in Idaho. After that, the Scientologists.
Oh my God.
And after that, like, because of everything they're going to go through from that, Scientology and Mormonism are going to have to, like, they're going to be so wrecked, they're going to have to fuse and make one even crazier religion, Mormontology. Mormontology. I don't know what that looks like. Mormontology.
Oh man. I
the
cannot wait to see that. I can't wait to rescue people from that one.
So totally random thing that I saw, because TikTok is amazing and I can't believe the app is free. So a few years ago I wrote, and this is going to sound like it's coming out of left field, and eventually it'll make sense. So a few years ago I wrote this article on chiropractic, landed me on Joe Rogan, had a lot of people very angry at me because obviously this is the first thing I was wrong about, everything else totally right, but I got every last fucking fact I looked up wrong in the chiropractic article somehow. But anyways, one of the chiropractors I wrote about was this guy, Eric Berg, quote, doctor chiropractor, who has, like, millions of followers on YouTube. He's one of those guys who can, fix everything in your health through the power of back cracking, which he cannot because he's full of shit. Anyways, so on TikTok the other day, I see, actually it's been a couple weeks at this point, this guy comes on and puts up a video saying, after I post this is going to, ruin my life is over. And apparently Eric Berg is his father, and he spent millions of those dollars he's made from being online chiropractor douchebag on the Church of Scientology, because he was raised in the Church of Scientology, because crazy douchebag chiropractor is also a crazy douchebag Scientologist.
Wow.
Holy shit. Like,
wow.
What? Like, if I'd known that, I would have gone way harder on him in the article.
It's consistent, if you're going to think magically, all of the magidoodle thinking.
Man, you went hard on the crazy. And it was a few weeks later, he posted, the Sun posted, oh, you don't believe me that I was raised in the Church of Scientology? Here I am in my uniform. Here I am going out and passing out. I'm like, oh my God, he really was raised like in the fucking church. Jesus. But yeah, just... it's so Eric Berg, crazy chiropractor Scientologist. That's a thing. Oh my God. I did not know what to do with that information, and I'm so glad that I got to, spit that at all of you guys. Meh.
Well, you called it first. Well, I remember that, and I was just like, woo! Back cracking solves all problems, because
I had one last thing I wanted to throw down, and I forgot what it was. This happens to me far too often.
It has to do with the fact that fish can get hooked on meth.
It did not. What is this? Something we had to talk about?
No, not at all. I just figured, what's the most left out field thing I've heard all week? Yeah, in the Czech Republic, scientists figured out that fish were congregating near medical dump sites. They were getting addicted to the amphetamines in the water, and they go through withdrawal. It takes about 100 hours to clean up a fish once they hang out.
That reminds me of a stand-up act that I saw. We should probably end in a few minutes, but there was this stand-up routine that I saw that's on. It's in the Comedy Central series This Is Not Happening, where people tell real life stories. And this comedian was like, "Yeah, so I was hooked on meth for a few years because it just seemed like a good thing to do." And eventually, she talks about drinking her meth piss because, like, look, she was on meth already, so obviously this is the next descent into hell.
She's watched some of the fasting videos that let you recycle your own electrolytes and take no additional calories.
But she was desperate, and and when a meth addict is desperate, one goes to. And anyway, she was like, "Well, I needed some meth," and she went for the toilet and drank the meth piss. And she was like, "Yeah, at some point, I realized I was just doing the meth to drink the meth piss." I want to know if these fish were getting like higher because they were like, was it because they were near the drug factory, or were they near a place where a bunch of meth addicts lived and maybe they were getting super high off meth piss? Just that came to mind.
I will need to go and further research, and it's going to take time because the original writing, I believe, was in Cyrillic. So I'm only reading an English translation.
I read a little. I can pronounce Cyrillic, but I do not know what I'm reading yet.
Yeah, I worked for a Russian news organization for 3 years, and I learned absolutely nothing. I learned. Yeah.
It is slow. Like I've started learning Russian beginning of the year, and I can only now sort of pronounce pronounce Cyrillic, if that makes sense. But I'm like, nah, I don't have enough vocabulary to say that I speak any Russian yet. I maybe know 200 words, which is not even a fraction of the way to speaking it yet. But like, it's reading in Cyrillic is a trip because like there are a bunch of letters that are exactly the same as in English. Then there are a bunch of letters that are and they're pronounced the same. Then there are a bunch of letters that are look the same and are pronounced differently. Then there are a bunch of symbols that don't exist in English at all, and you got to use them all cohesively from a brain that's used to the Latin alphabet. And it's like the Y symbol is an oo sound, the backwards R is a y sound, the little thing that looks kind of like a pi symbol, that's the P sound, and the P is an R. And your brain has to kind of look at these and try to make itself think about this all at once. And it's not. It's like, nah, Mom, well, I'm not doing it today.
Your chances of coming, what does one do with dementia? Do you come down with dementia? I don't know.
It's developing. I just go with develop.
You learning cards, new languages, to be blunt, any musical instrument you pick up and have to learn, all of the math stuff.
Stave it off.
Yeah, it staves it off. It helps your brain build new transmitters to various places. It's awesome. And keep working on the Cyrillic, and then you'll have the brain of a much younger, svelter, healthier brain person. I don't know.
I just have to keep Botoxing the face so it'll match the brain. Look, as we've discussed this before, it's for all the privilege that white people got, we also got skin that ages with all the guilt that we got for that privilege. So it's just like I Black friends that are my age look like they're white people in their early 20s. Like that's how we do not age well. It's not a thing that works out for us. No.
Well,
so, fighting and kicking and screaming.
Then there's Side Mom who kind of blows that out of the water.
What the fuck, Mom? I get it. Like, number one, she wore sunscreen, which I did not do consistently in my early 20s. If there are any early 20s people watching this right now, don't do what we did. Wear your fucking sunscreen. But I'm also half Jewish, and there was a joke from Jon Stewart last he was on Colbert, and they were looking at pictures from them from back when they were on their shows in the aughts, and Stewart was mentioning that noticing that he aged faster than Colbert. He's like, you see, Jews, we age like avocados. You expose us to air, things happen. And I'm like, and you see, my mother is my French side. My father is my Jewish side. So I got two halves of my genetics, and my mom is helping the upkeep stay, but not all of my genes are following suit. So I got a neurotoxin. This shit. It's not. Look. God made Botox for a reason.
Amen, science god of murderous, toxin that will kill you if you eat those beans with the buckled can. But when you stick it in your face, it's awesome.
Just got to have very, very, very dilute neurotoxin. Very dilute. Mom's like, I tried. I'm like, Mom, you did try, but I didn't listen, and I went in the sun, and I'm sorry. Anyways, we are about gonna wrap this up because I have some writing to do, and I want to do. It's been a while. We've chatted at the screen for a while now, and it's Sunday. There's stuff to. Anyways, Jamila, where can people find you? I know you are always on Clubhouse. People probably want to go and check out what you're up to. Where can people find you?
People can find me on, I'm on Facebook. I am half-ass on Instagram. I'm there, but I don't know what I'm doing there. And then I come back to Facebook. You know, I am really excited to be on Clubhouse because I get to talk to people and ask and answer questions in real time, which is something that I completely love to do. Clubhouse is everybody's a Bitcoin billionaire except me, so sorry about that.
Everyone says they're a Bitcoin billionaire.
Well, I mean, nobody lies on that. I mean, come on,
People lie on the internet. What?
I know. So I'm doing that. If for some reason on Thursday at 2 Eastern you feel like listening to the radio show I broadcast, I'm on WPFW Pacifica, DC, WPFW FM. We stream live, and I'm on every Thursday in the 2 o'clock Eastern hour. So it's a lot of fun, and I get to ask smarter people than myself questions.
What's the website for that again?
WP like Peter, F like Frank, WPFWFM.org. And
WPFWFM.org?
Yep. And my show is called The Sex, Politics, and Religion Hour, Spar with Jamila.
WPFWFM.org, Spar with Jamila.
That's me.
Typing that into the comments here so people can hunt you down. So, all right, those are all the places you can find Jamila, and of course, this was kind of my fault. Y'all know that I'm occasionally a social anxiety monkey who doesn't take care of shit right away because I'm always exhausted and there are too many messages in my inbox. But Jamila had sent me her wish list right away, and I looked at it. I'm like, and I sent it into the chat on Discord, and then I was like, who's Mark Greenberg? Because like it came up under. She'd sent it to me saying my son figured out my wish list. And I looked at it, I'm like, who's Mark Green? And I realized it's Jamila's husband because I'm an idiot. Anyways, her Amazon wish list is below. If you have, get anything that you need to get your computer hooked up, anything that you just want, period, just throw it. Like they basically paid for my entire, like my leggings are all like from Amazon. Like it's like I have like long term I have thrown on things like that are anywhere from relatively inexpensive, like my wigs are all like $20 then they're on there, and I'm like look, sometimes people just want to send you a thing because they adore you as they clearly do, and sometimes people are like, all right, a few of us have gotten together and we bought you an expensive thing. So I throw things on there that are relatively inexpensive, and I throw things on there that are expensive, not expecting them to get bought. So that's like it. The list is just all sorts of things, and I super appreciate like just my sock drawer being full of cozy socks. Thank you, Christian. Anyways, oh yeah, so many cozy socks. Like it's just like, and every time I wear one of the things, or like the amount of candy that was sent here during lockdown, or just it has been so appreciated, just the amount of stuff that has just enhanced my life and made day-to-day living just nicer, and been like, oh, someone sent me that. You guys have made things just a little nicer in my home, and by a little I mean substantially, and it's cool. And anyways, Jamila's wish list is below. Jamila, throw more things on there. Have more fun with it. Do more. It's like the people love you. Again, ignore my wish list for a few weeks. Go attack Jamila's. Add more stuff to your list. So anyways, as usual, you guys can find me at all the places that are below. If you haven't signed up for Patreon yet, sign up for Patreon. Best way to support the show. Of course, if you're more of a one-time donation thing, PayPal is below. If for whatever reason you would prefer to send things to my wish list, that is below. But please, like, I still haven't played with all the wigs you guys have sent. Go to Jamila's wish list. Trust me, go to Jamila's. Anyways, I love you guys. I will see you on Friday. Jamila, stay on so we can chat for a minute after I've hit end on the stream. We will see you guys next week. Bye.
Love you all. Bye-bye. Have a great week.